Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II, World at War with our Axis playthrough. In the last episode, we moved over into June 1941, and we took care of Italy, as well as some of the tertiary fronts of the war against the Soviet Union, such as the Caucasus and Finland. We also started this massive submarine versus surface fleet battle where we took out an enemy fleet carrier. It was the illustrious carrier. This is quite an interesting thing because this is where all their destroyers are. But their destroyers don't have ASW. We're starting to get our own subs that have upgrades, so we have a little bit of an advantage. There's also a enemy carrier fleet in the Ionian Sea and Mediterranean here, trying to bombard our ships, and I don't really know how to handle that because they have a lot of ships out here, and it could probably sink the Italian fleet if I went out to meet it. I can't spare easily anything to defend here. Now, I could send, for example, the Turkish fighters without an escort. I could operate that over there. Just try to, provide some escort support, some guarding. Hope that that works out. There's also maybe this Romanian one, but this one's kind of filling a defensive role in the front. Not that I couldn't just shift these fighters down this way or something. I don't think they have a lot of air power here. But that's the main thing. It would have to be some minor power thing, and they wouldn't really have an escort around to support them. I'm tempted to, especially with the Turkish fighter, because the Turkish fighter doesn't have anything to do right now. It would be great if it came over here and supported this, but it's not doing that, and the Yugoslavs, well, they don't have their own air power. So, they're functioning well without it for now, anyway. I don't know, but when going through Italy, I actually missed something over here. I failed to take the first army and attack with it, so I'm going to do that. Attack the Desert Recon. 2 damage dealt, and it runs away, no damage taken. Actually made it back up. And we have enough supply projection. Okay, so we can actually push here. I think I definitely have to do that. Let's go ahead and push forward. Okay, so we can see... Okay, see, I was tempted at one point to send my corps around to try to flank, but I'm glad I didn't. They have an army sitting on this town. Tactical bombers, which would be fun to get out in the open, but we don't have much ability to do anything else there. I think I might move this core up down the road so it's a little bit closer. I don't have the MPPs to actually upgrade this core, so for now we are just going to move it forward, kind of bring it around, solidify, fortify this front a little bit, get this core somewhere it might be able to branch off and do some good sooner or later, or maybe even fill in for this army a little bit, maybe even branch out down south. We'll see. I don't know. This is just the easiest place to move it for now, as our strange Italian formation comes into play. There's still more that I can send down there. It's just I don't have the MPPs to afford to maintain anything else. As Italy, I'm already pushing my MPPs to the brink where I don't have any MPPs to research anything. We're using 450 MPPs for research, and that's it. And one of these things are about to be done researching. We can hardly keep up with it. We're just pushing so heavy on the actual reinforcing and upgrading and using of things. The enemy corps at Odessa is reinforced, it's strong, but it's not as entrenched anymore. I'm gonna take the first Romanian army because we don't have any air support in range. We can't get air support in range and then use it, so I'm gonna take the first Romanian army and we're gonna attack. We have 1 to 4 odds, so that's pretty good. We dealt 3 damage, we took 2, so our, RNGesus decided to fuck us. But we'll take the second Romanian army, attack as well. 3 damage dealt, 2 taken. Holy shit! RNGesus hates me. We're gonna need some reinforcing of our own here soon. We'll attack with the core. No damage dealt, 1 taken, the exact opposite of what was supposed to happen. I want to cry at those results, but you know what? It is what it is, what it is. For bombing targets down south, it's actually pretty easy to decide where we're going. We have a whole line of Soviets blocking the coalition forces, as I guess I was calling them. We'd want to get through that, but we only have corps actually up at the front right now. Slovakian and Hungarian. We do have these paratroopers which I believe are prepared to jump. Yeah, they're prepared to jump. We also probably have that up here too, yes. So they can get into position pretty easily. Is this a bomber? No, this is a bomber. This one can reach literally one target. And only one target. Alright, well shit. Bomb that target. It's an enemy core sitting on Zidimir. No damage dealt, none taken, but we have XP on that bomber now. We reduce the readiness and morale, not their entrenchment, but that'll still make this a lot easier. This tactical bomber could go for Zidimir as well, or it could try to weaken the enemy army. Oh, that's an army that these cores are facing at Vinitisa. So I think I'll focus on that one. The other one is pretty weakened enough, I'd say. We actually dealt damage to that one, took no damage, no escort needed. Their fighters aren't in position to protect their front line yet. At least not the middle and bottom of it. The middle bottom? That area. Readiness and morale lowered, and now we actually have some attack odds that might work here. However, with some losses, unfortunately. I'll take these tactical bombers. I'm going to move them closer. Not sure if I should do here or here. This seems a little close to the front line for my liking. So we'll move them right about down here. These fighters can follow after them. I think this is a fine enough place for these fighters. I really might be able to send Romanians and stuff over to Italy as well, just to serve as like a temporary defensive fixture. Nothing really important. I don't even think they need to go the whole way. Because look at this. Look at where they are right now. What's the range on like where they can intercept to? Is that something that I can see? Interceptions? No, intercept range 5. Ooh, that's it. Guess we don't have long range fighters, do we? Do we have that researching? Yes, we do. The first level of it, 5. So if I was here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could guard here. Problem is, there's also stuff over here that's going crazy. This might work for this one. And then I could get the Turkish one over here, just to serve as these like temporary defenses. Germany just trying to help protect against the carrier. That's the big thing, the carrier. Nothing else here of the fleet can really harm us in port, or even try to, except that carrier. So yeah, Luftwaffe Fighters 2, you're gonna move down to this field. It's a field. Surprised it's not like a river, it's surrounded by one. And we have these fighters and these bombers, both of which can move up. We need to move these bombers up for sure. This is as far as they can move, so that works. These fighters move up behind them. For now, just go right there. This is a river, but it should work, I guess. Let me make sure about that. River. No modifiers at all. What about a forest? Forest actually has protective modifiers that theoretically could defend a fighter better from enemy fighters. Now, I don't know if that applies to fighters, but the game hasn't taught me otherwise. I'm sure someone in the comments will teach me otherwise. I've been having a lot of teaching. Unfortunately, the Africa units are too far away to do anything. Not having long-range fighters is actually very harming in this campaign. If I move too fast and my air support doesn't keep up, it's funny. So I'll have to move them at some point. Oh god, wait. These are the bombers? Okay, yeah, the bombers, too far. These bombers can attack, they just don't know what they're attacking yet. The enemies up north seem to value their defensive position very much, so I'm gonna take this core. I'm gonna move it all the way as far northeast as it can get, yeah. To pull off some recon, because I wanted to be able to see across the river, so I just kind of had to go the whole way. It's not just these three. There's an army, a corps, and an army. Also just across this river, staring down. So breaking through a river will probably not be the easiest thing, even against enemies that don't have infantry weapons level 1 and whatnot. It could probably be brute force with tanks at like a weak point. Maybe in the forest here, like against these light tanks and mechanized or something. Or even the core at Riga. But I could also just maybe somehow stretch my defenses and then just keep pushing east so that this whole riverfront line ends up meaning nothing. One of the most obvious moves I can make right now is taking this perfectly healthy army that has no upgrades to really do and just moving it forward to stare down at the enemy army. I was about to say corps because its values were less. And the heavy tanks, oh yes. That's why I upgraded heavy tanks in a field. I think that I'll go with this idea of rather than breaking through up into the Baltics, we'll just keep heading east. And so I have an idea of how to do that. Well, first off, I'm just going to reinforce this army while it's here. All right. And then I'm going to take this army. I'm going to start moving it east down the road here. This corps is going to go find a defensive position in this forest, which I think will work as a defensive position. Yeah. Got some nice defensive bonuses, and you can entrench up to 3. And now my mouse was stuck on it for some reason. I'm going to take this corps, I'm going to move it here. And then when this army's healed, it's going to come towards here. This corps is going to sit here. So we have corps lining every other hex facing this way. Now, against a player, I feel like this would be super dangerous, because then you'd have to like weigh the risks of, ooh, do I try to make a sudden offensive and then cut them off from up here? I don't expect an AI to exploit this. And if they do, I feel like I can respond well enough. In addition, since I'm taking this mobile approach, quote unquote mobile, I'm going to do an unmobile thing of taking this chance to get tanks that need upgrades or could benefit from them, their upgrades. Because this upgrade here would help a lot. Look at these attack values changing. Look at these defense values changing. I'm going to get them their advanced tanks too. First and foremost, 50 MPPs between the two of them. Reinforcements and elite reinforcements might come later if I see a need for them. I don't know. That's a decision for Res next turn to make. Rommel will head down to Wilno and be the HQ for the front over here. Von Bach will move to Kaunis and kind of be the guy for all this stuff. Not going to decide what to do with these tactical bombers yet. They might run some harassment. We'll see. I believe they do have fighter coverage up here. I don't remember how strong or whatnot it is, so I will figure out how I'm going to use those bombers. I know the Africa ones need to move closer because they're not in range of anything. And they can be very, very handy to any kind of push that's going to happen over here. So I need to kind of shift some things up and around for this strategy. At first, I was just pressing my units up even against the swamp while I tried to figure out what the hell to do with them. Now I have generally a better idea of what to do with them. Although still maybe not entirely. So I'm going to reinforce this corps. This just seems like an obvious choice. Reinforce this corps while it's sitting here in a pretty defensive location. I'm unsure about moving this corps up into some sort of like front range, but this forest is calling to me. What's supply there? 7. Yeah, the supply is fine. I don't need to keep anything in these swamps. We're not going to need that. They've left this open, and all the troops up here have gone to this river. So I either need to lure them across the river, or I need to go past the river, ideally for max speed to Moscow and our targets. So, okay, I think I'll move both of them then. One of them, the 30th Corps, the XXX Corps, will go over here. Even though I'm also going to move the 2nd Corps up here. There's a reason for this. It's because this is where I'm going to move my tactical bombers. So I want them to get as close as possible while having still 2 layers of our units protecting them. The Africa fighters will just trail behind them nice and slow like. Right now, I don't think the paratroopers really need to move. They can, so long as they don't run out of movement points, they can still re-prepare for the next turn. I'll take these tactical bombers. I'm going to aim them at these light tanks to try to deal some damage. Their readiness and morale is already low. And yep, there's their little pea shooter interceptors. Run our escorts. Deal 3 damage to their interceptors. Take 1 damage to our bomber. Deal another damage to their interceptors. Deal 3 damage to the tanks. Oh my god, that went amazingly. Breaking through here probably wouldn't be as hard as it sounded, except for the fact that out of every front, this one is manned by like the least amount of soldiers that are the most injured. We probably want to move up a little. I'll take the tactical bombers, move them forward over here. Take the fighters, move them forward over here. They might need a turn or something to recover soon, but with this shift in the front, well, we'll see how that goes. I'll take this 4th army, and I'm just gonna give them elite reinforcements for now. This is a rare moment where we're like logistically shifting things around, reinforcing, and mostly just harassing due to the openness of this front. I'm curious to see if they shift any units into a more vulnerable position, perhaps to take advantage of the fact that there's a core up here, sort of by itself. I kind of hope they do, because that will make them supremely more vulnerable than being dug in behind a river. But I'm going to take the Frontier Corps, and I'm going to move that up, either right here or right up here. I haven't decided that bit yet. I think I'll just move him right up to the threat for now. Just press up here with a nice little wall. This tank is in very good range to beat up anybody that tries to beat this core up. This core is some nice little scouting and some nice little bait as well. Paratrooper probably going to stay where it is because we're not ready for an offensive. Doesn't need to move up because of just how the lines are kind of in our favor. With my already in position 3rd Panzer tanks, we're not getting any upgrades. We are going to try to eat away at Zitomir, first and foremost with these tanks. 4 damage dealt, none taken as expected. 5 damage dealt, none taken as expected. Okay, very happy with that. Let's take the 1st Corps and attack. And the enemy, whatever that was, at Zitomir, is now dead and accounted for. I will press maybe not the most intelligent offensive here, sending the Slovakian Corps to attack the 10th enemy army, which we've bombed a little bit. From their side of the river, I believe. 2 damage dealt, 2 taken. Yeah, that did not work out as well as I had hoped that it would. Prepared attack as well with the 1st Hungarian Corps. 2 damage dealt, 1 taken. You know, I gotta say, well, that one was fine, but the rolls this turn are fucking us right over. I'm gonna move the Slovakian Corps forward. It's gonna sound probably pretty weird considering it just got damaged, but I'm gonna move that bitch forward because I'm gonna then take the Hungarian army, the first one here. I'm gonna move that forward and do a blitz attack. And we actually, wow, we actually got a good roll, dealing more damage than we were supposed to. And we wiped out this enemy on Vinica. I'm then going to take this 6th Corps, move that into the woods down here next to this mechanized, which is very injured and very not ready or moraled for anything. And I'm going to attack it. 2 damage dealt, none taken. Probably should have moved something up here first, to be honest. For example, the 14th German Army could slide in there real nice and do a blitz attack. 3 damage dealt, it runs away, none taken. It has 1 HP, dude. It has 1 HP. I'm gonna move the 1st Corps that wiped out the enemy on Zitomir. I'm gonna move him past Zitomir, down the road, up against Kiev, where we have the enemy 26th Army dug in already, ready to go, unfortunately. I'm going to move the 10th Army. You know, actually I might not. This is a zone of control here, that's why we can't go any further. Yeah, no, I just won't move this. We're going to reinforce this back up to max for right now. I was gonna move it all the way forward, but the main thing holding it is the fact that there's a zone of control here. I thought this was the end of its movement range for a moment. In which case, I'll move the whatever the fuck Corps this is up here, even though it is injured, yes. But it's just there to secure the town, pretty much, and to move the line forward a little bit so that Von Kukler can move forward along this little line here. I guess everyone else will kind of stay where they are. I think we're in pretty good range with all of our upgrades. We have enough HQs sprinkled around to take care of everybody down here. Nice and fine. Don't think we need to move anybody else anywhere else. I think the HQs for the most part are good where they are. The 5th Corps doesn't have many places it can go, except for maybe running up here. I'm just going to reinforce it up to strength. Oh, hello? There you go. We don't have... I don't know, it's weird. I have to constantly make decisions of, do I take this injured unit and move it forward to get an attack in, or do I say fuck that, and then I just sit still and I reinforce like I've done a little bit up here, like with these tanks with the upgrades, because I feel like those will benefit me more in the long run, especially while considering we're kind of on a time limit. Not only is the Axis against the superior allied resource generation, but we're trying to make really good progress before the winter comes around, if not win this war before the winter comes around. I think winning the war before winter comes around will be hard. We're now kind of like at the start of Barbarossa time. Next turn will probably be the beginning of August, which would leave us like, you know, that's 1, 2, September, 3, 4, maybe 5 turns only before the winter kicks in, and then we start taking a fuck ton of attrition, and that will not be fun. And I don't think in 5 turns from now, or 6, we're going to be at Moscow. I'm still going to be a little aggressive though. We're going to take the first paratroopers and we are going to paratroop forward. Whee! It's me! We landed without issue. Perfect for wiping out a fleeing mechanized unit. Shattered. Dead. Good. He's a little protruding into the front here, but supply will catch up, especially actually if I move this even further. Von Kukler down to Tarnopol. That might help supply even more. Yes, from 5 to 6 up here. So he'll be in pretty good supply next turn. That'll be nice. So he's now just protruding forward. He's got a garrison next to him. He's got some cores that probably need to understand the value of running away soon. I have some very injured Romanians here, right? I'm going to run one of them back across the river where he could be defensive. I'm going to take this Hungarian, have it take his place to attack the enemy at Odessa. 3 damage dealt, 1 taken. Okay. My God, I just need one fucking damage and then Odessa is mine. Now, they can reinforce this, but I don't know if they can do it fully. Either way, that would be so expensive for them, and it's only like my Axis coalition forces, my minor forces that are really doing a lot of this fighting. The Germans are starting to take the bulk of over here, so I'm gonna start shifting Hungarians and Romanians just all more like down here to push across here towards Kherson into Sevastopol, Crimea, and then over towards Rostov, kind of meeting up with the Yugoslavian forces, which are going to be mostly operating independently, doing their own thing, just having the Romanians, Hungarians team up because, well, they have HQs, but there's not actually a lot of them in general. I'll take this first Hungarian corps, and we're going to move that just down the river towards Uman, spread our little supply line there, maybe try to trick this enemy corps into attacking across a river against what might appear to be an easy target. Honestly, these bombers weren't able to move far enough, fast enough. Holy crap, this line is moving so much faster than I can keep up with after actually doing bombings. So much. I feel like I need to move up my planes at like an enhanced rate to even begin to keep up with any of this stuff. The bombers might not have anything to do next turn. The Africa planes can actually move up a little bit further. Let's say right there, because we did clear some pretty good space and I can't see them getting over here to attack this fucking bomber. I can't see that happening. I have so many units up here that need rest and recuperation, and the bombers are falling so far behind at this point. I'm probably just going to leave this 3rd Panzer tank right here rather than setting up to get some sort of prepared attack, and prioritize getting its upgrade to the 2nd upgrade of Panzer tanks, because I think that would help, while a lot of these other injured things maybe get a chance to recover after that pretty big offensive that had us wipe out a bunch of their units and claim a bunch of land. Because as of right now, we have a lot of injuries on the front, and we're running into more and more enemies that don't have injuries, and eventually that's going to come to bite us in the ass. We could probably do some limited movements of the units that don't need any upgrades, but upgrades and reinforcements for everyone that does need that would probably be very, very useful, if I do say so myself. Now, looking at Japan, I know we got these Army air fighters, and we got these naval flotilla tactical bombers that are in. Attack bombers are pretty much upgraded, ready to go. The fighters, they popped out with probably what was normal at the time. I think I paid for these. But there have been more upgrades since, so I'm just going to go ahead and take this chance to upgrade them with Advanced Fighters 2, Long Range Aircraft 2, from where they are. They look really fucking cool. This fighter could definitely use that upgrade. When this one shows up, maybe they can like relieve each other a little bit. This TAC bomber is ready to move up. It can't attack while it moves, so we'll figure out the placement of that later. Looking over all the options here, breaking into Changsha itself will probably be the easiest thing to do around here. Like getting through this fortification will not actually be as easy. So let's take the medium bombers and we're going to bomb Changsha, because this is our focus right now. We want to break through in Changsha, open up this front, and sneak around south of Chongqing, be able to start moving towards Kunming. So medium bomb. We dealt damage. We weren't supposed to. We took damage. We weren't supposed to. It is what it is. Rather than get another elite reinforcement, we're gonna keep on the offensive for right now. Bomb Changsha further, dealt some damage. We wiped out some fortifications, I believe. a little bit, and a fuck ton of readiness and morale. Yeah, we went from having like 1 to 0, so we would take damage and they wouldn't take any, to 1 to 4. So we take 1 damage and they take 4. So the odds have improved dramatically. I think that's very much worth what we just did. Wish we had more firepower, but let's take the second Kwantung army and let's go on the offensive. Woo! Okay, we dealt damage. I didn't actually remember how much. I think that was like 5. We took some damage as well, unfortunately. It is what it is. I'm just gonna run the second Kwantung army up to Wuhan, because now I know that morale bonuses when swapping are a thing. I'm gonna move up with the North Chinese Front Army, wipe out the enemy at Changsha completely, and voila, Changsha is open. I'm gonna upgrade the third army. Getting those infantry weapon upgrades is very important for me right now. I will of course then march forward onto Changsha and take it, which is going to provide a very interesting dynamic here, because this guy is going to have to flee or be fully surrounded very quickly. These light tanks are fucking useless. They've marched into a field against very experienced, well, an army that's going to attack them. Deal 6 damage, take none. We were supposed to deal 7, but I'll take what I can get. With no losses, that's still pretty good. I'll just reinforce the 5th Corps back here while it has a chance to do so. I'm gonna move the 13th Army, maybe not actually, wait a minute. Oh no, actually this is fine, yeah. Move that forward because my goal here is to keep pushing this way, because look, this isn't even fortified yet. They're gonna have to scramble, and if they don't, I will surround and overwhelm them. Besides, if I want to attack down here, there's no fortifications facing up. So, I will then take the Central Expedition Army, move it in place of that other one to protect this HQ. This corps will move forward to where the army just was, attack the mechanized tanks, light tanks, dealing 2 damage, taking no damage. And now it's moved down south. I might be able to get that with one of my other units here. I'll take these maritime bombers, send them down to Haikou, which is where I intended to send them all along. I will press this attack for now against this enemy corps across the river at Nanning. 2 damage dealt, 2 taken. That didn't work out very well. Attack with this one, Korean army, 2 damage dealt, none taken. Alright. Supposed to deal 3, but again, I'll take what I can get. This corps will attack as well. First corps, 2, 3 damage, something like that. None taken, works out pretty well. It's down to 3, so it's fairly weak. I do really wonder if I just like moved and then swapped, if I could one-shot kill it. But I think I'm going to take the more guaranteed chances of killing this. Why is supply going to increase here? What has changed? I don't know. But I'm going to take the 21st Army, finally moving it off of Canton. Oh yeah, good thing I moved the army, actually. Shatter and destroy their light tanks. Take a little bit of damage in return, but that's fine. Oh, it could actually move directly back onto Canton already? Or it could move up. Okay. Okay. Well, Henyang, this is becoming a bit of a front, and supply will be 6 here next turn. So yeah, I'll move that up, scare the corps at Henyang. We're going to take this corps and move that onto Canton. It'll be able to, well, actually, it won't be able to reinforce too much better, but it'll be in supply, and then it'll be ready to go step on Hong Kong when that time comes. For some reason, our silly opponents have moved a corps out into the open where I can hurt it quite drastically, quite easily, because it has minimal emplacements, entrenchments, you name it. But I have to choose between that or keeping going after the army on Siam. We still have a whole nother front to manage, but I think I'm going to take care of some logistical stuff in the meantime. For example, getting these garrisons onto the mainland. I will go ahead and transport the 11th garrison on a normal transport down to Foochow. Yeah, because this is right next to this region in Nanchang where we're going to need them. Maybe Shanghai would have made more sense so I could use the rails, but I could just start walking right now and it wouldn't really be an issue. 1 garrison placement there could take care of 3 spots, because we know this line's about to move forward, so we'll start moving that up as we can. We'll eventually also need another one, in the west of there, but we're also going to eventually need one up here. Right now, it's all taken care of up there, so I will transport this one into roughly the same location, and then just have it, like, follow after. The south push won't need any because it's going to meet up with the west push by the time it gets to any more partisan points. So those two are going to go there. We do, of course, need more. However, moving the rest of the units and taking care of that final front, figuring out how we're going to spend all of our points, will have to come on the next episode, for we are out of time today. Hope you guys are enjoying the series as it is. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.